In the year 1442, a group of Transylvanian boys were taken forcibly to be trained for the Turkish army. Among them, one boy grew into the infamous Vlad the Impaler, known for his brutal acts. After enduring torment, Vlad returned to Transylvania to establish rule and peace. Near Transylvania, a Roman named Scelgium stumbled upon a discarded Turkish helmet by a stream. Vlad, now Prince of Wallachia and Transylvania, interpreted this discovery as a sign of impending invasion. Convinced that the Turks were planning an attack from the Broken Tooth Mountain, Vlad prepared for battle and set out to negotiate with them. Accompanied by 2 men, Vlad ventured to the mountain and discovered signs of disturbance, including bats flying out of a cave. As they investigated further, they encountered an ominous presence that swiftly snatched one of Vlad's companions into darkness. Despite Vlad's attempts to fight back, he was overpowered and barely escaped with his life. Back at Castle Dracula, Vlad consulted with brother Lucian about the creature they encountered. Lucian recounted the tale of a vampire, a man who had summoned a demon for power but was cursed to dwell in darkness for eternity. Meanwhile, Vlad's wife Myrina sensed his inner turmoil and questioned him about the attack, to which he falsely attributed it to wolves. Haunted by memories of his past and the loss of his men, Vlad expressed his desire to avoid further conflict. However, their peace was disrupted when Ottoman General Panza Bey arrived, demanding a tribute of 1,000 boys for the Sultan's army. When a father pleaded for mercy for his son, he was met with violence from a Turkish soldier. In response, Vlad intervened and pinned the soldier to the wall, defying Hamza Bey's authority. Despite lacking an army of his own, Vlad stood firm against the demands, knowing the consequences of submission would be dire. Vlad's advisor, Kazan, urges him to take necessary steps to protect their people. That evening, Vlad confides in his son, Ingress, revealing that his father had offered him as a hostage to the Sultan to prove his loyalty. Despite this, Vlad reassures Ingress that everything will be fine. However, when Vlad is alone with his wife, Myrina, he worries about the fate of hundreds of boys who are to be sacrificed. Myrina reminds Vlad of his close relationship with the Sultan and suggests he ask for mercy. The next day, Vlad meets with Mohammed II, the Sultan, and they share drinks, reminiscing about their past. Mohammed acknowledges Vlad's adaptation to their culture, but demands to know about the boys he requested for his army. Vlad offers himself in exchange for the boys' lives, but Mohammed refuses, instead demanding to raise Ingress as his own. Despite Vlad's pleas, Mohammed remains firm, advising Vlad to have more sons. In a clearing, Vlad's family delivers Ingress to the Turks. Myrina confronts Vlad, reminding him of his promise to protect their children. Kazan warns of the consequences of defiance, emphasizing the risk of war. As Turkish soldiers approach, Vlad drops his weapon in a gesture of surrender. Ingress volunteers to go with them, promising to survive like he did before. Holding his son's hands, Vlad delivers him to Hamza Bey, who taunts Vlad for not resisting more. In a moment of realization, Vlad whispers to Ingress to run back to his mother as soon as he can. Vlad then steals Hamza Bey's sword and engages in a fierce battle with the Turkish soldiers alone. Despite his victory, Vlad knows that more will come. Kazan criticizes Vlad's actions, but Vlad stands firm, believing that no child should be sacrificed for their country's sake. He commands his family to seek safety in the castle, while he ventures alone to the Broken Tooth Mountain. Vlad scales the ominous mountain and enters the dark cave where the vampire resides. Although the vampire greets him, Vlad cannot see him in the darkness. The vampire remarks that no one has ever returned to him, to which Vlad adds that no one has ever escaped either, given the numerous human bones scattered in the cave. As the vampire extinguishes Vlad's torch, Vlad swings his sword blindly until the vampire finally confronts him and effortlessly flicks away his weapon. The creature senses hope rather than fear in Vlad and instructs him to hide a silver ring as it offends him. Vlad reveals his plight against the Turks, expressing a desire for the vampire's power to protect his people and family. Sarcastically, the vampire commands Vlad, recognizing him as the son of the devil. Vlad corrects the vampire, explaining that his family name, Dracula, means the dragon, not the devil. Despite this, the vampire taunts Vlad about his violent past and pins him to the wall. Vlad admits to feeling nothing when he impaled thousands, justifying his actions as a means to instill fear and deter the Turks from further aggression. The vampire wounds Vlad's neck and tastes his blood, claiming that Vlad doesn't understand what it means to be a monster. He offers Vlad a choice: drink his blood and gain great power but risk an insatiable thirst for human blood, or resist for 3 days and become mortal again. Failure would result in complete transformation, with the vampire gaining freedom and control over Vlad. Desperate, Vlad succumbs to drinking the vampire's blood. As he does, the vampire turns away, leaving Vlad's body to crumble, succumbing to his newfound fate. Vlad wakes up by the stream, feeling his skin burn from the silver ring. He removes it and tries to stand, but a rock crumbles, injuring his hand, which instantly heals. He becomes aware of tiny sounds and the heat of every living creature in the woods. Vlad retrieves his ring and wears it as a necklace before hearing distant explosions. He runs at top speed, transforming into bats briefly to reach the castle faster. At the besieged castle, Vlad reunites with his family and reassures the frightened townspeople. He acknowledges that a good prince might have sacrificed their sons for peace, but declares he won't be defeated. Despite cannons breaching the castle, Vlad faces the army alone, baring his fangs and single-handedly fighting through them like a force of nature. As the battlefield clears, Vlad's soldiers arrive, finding no more enemies to fight. Vlad instructs them not to question his actions, but to trust his intention to keep them safe. Knowing more armies will come, he urges his people to seek refuge in the Kozha monastery in the mountains. While traveling, they stop to camp, and Vlad is tempted when he sees his men eating. He pulls away and leaves, encountering Skelgium in the woods. Skelgium explains he was following bats, not Vlad, and offers his blood, asking to be Vlad's servant. Vlad rejects the offer and warns Skelgium to stay away. The next day, Mohammed arrives at the battlefield and sees impaled soldiers. Meanwhile, Myrina wakes to find Vlad huddled over, shirtless with a burning silver ring on his chest. Vlad confesses he became the mountain's monster and allows the sun to burn him to prove it. Concerned, Myrina questions his actions. Vlad explains he did it to save their son and promises he'll be restored in 2 days if he resists the thirst. Vlad instructs Myrina to take the townspeople to the monastery while he confronts Mohammed. As Vlad waits for sundown, he transforms into bats to search for Mohammed's men. However, Mohammed's soldiers ambush the townspeople instead. In the chaos, Dmitri, one of Vlad's men, protects Myrina and Ingras, but he gets mortally wounded. Myrina instructs Ingras to run, but before the soldiers can strike, bats distract them. Vlad, in his beastly form, appears and saves them. Dmitri passes away, tempting Vlad with his blood, but Vlad resists for his son's sake. The townspeople reach the monastery, where Kazan scolds Vlad for leaving them. Vlad prepares them for battle, rejecting prayers for protection. Meanwhile, Mohammed learns of rumors about Vlad's transformation, but remains confident in defeating him. He marches his army to the monastery. Lucia notices Vlad avoiding sunlight and confronts him with a silver sword, revealing his monstrous nature to the people. The soldiers burn the tent with Vlad inside, but Myrina pleads for his life. Vlad emerges unscathed, berating the people for their disloyalty. Myrina calms him, and he orders preparations for battle. In the church, Vlad prays for strength, joined by Ingras, who offers him bread. Vlad acknowledges Ingras's potential as a leader and admits to stopping the Turks for his sake. As night falls, Vlad worries about ending the war before losing his power at dawn. Myrina vows to fight by his side, reminding him of their wedding vows about love enduring hardships. They find solace in each other as the enemy approaches. When the Ottoman army arrives, Vlad controls thousands of bats to attack them. Mohammed is thrown off his horse, but Vlad realizes an imposter wearing the Sultan's armor. Behind Vlad, a small group of soldiers sneaks into the monastery while the main army serves as a distraction. 3 soldiers reach Myrina's room, prompting her and Ingras to flee. They head to the tower, only to encounter Mohammed's men. Meanwhile, Vlad finds Mathman disguised in soldier's armor. A soldier punches Myrina, causing her to slip off the tower's edge. Hearing her scream, Vlad transforms into bats and rushes to save her. However, the Turks take Ingress as Myrina hangs on. Vlad throws off the last soldier, but Myrina falls. Desperately, Vlad jumps after her, but Mohammed takes Ingress away as Myrina falls before Vlad can reach her. Vlad cradles Myrina as she opens her eyes, knowing his powers will soon fade with the rising sun. Myrina urges him to drink her blood to turn him into a full vampire and save their son. Reluctantly, Vlad complies, mourning as he bares his fangs and turns into a full vampire, freeing the one who turned him. Returning to the monastery, Vlad finds one soldier alive and turns him into a vampire. He then retrieves his dragon armor and vows to save their son. At the Ottoman army's camp, a lightning storm approaches as Vlad arrives with a small army of vampires seeking vengeance. Kazan captures Mohammed's general and drinks his blood. Mohammed's assassin confronts Vlad, but Vlad pins him to a flagpole where a vampiric woman feasts on him. Vlad faces Mohammed in battle, struggling against the silver until Mohammed pins him down. Vlad transforms into bats and reforms, revealing himself as Dracula before biting Mohammed's neck. Vlad takes his son outside, where his vampire army gathers. Kazan reports that there are no more humans left except for Ingress. Suddenly, the vampires surround them, suggesting that Vlad's son is just a distraction. Kazan moves to attack Ingress, but Vlad stabs him, causing Kazan to disintegrate. Vlad shields his son as Lucian arrives with a holy cross, frightening the vampires. Lucian begs Vlad to give him the child, knowing he can protect him. Tearfully, Vlad tells Ingress to go, expressing his love before pushing him into Lucian's arms. Ingress screams for his father as Lucian backs away, accepting his fate. Vlad looks at the heavens as sunlight pours onto the vampires, causing them to burn, including Vlad, who screams as he perishes. Ingress is crowned the new prince of Wallachia, but laments that his father won't be seen as the hero he was. Unbeknownst to him, Skelgium finds Vlad's body in the Ottoman camp and revives him with his blood. Centuries pass, and Vlad walks into modern London, where he meets a woman resembling Myrina. He catches her attention by reciting their wedding vow poem, and she introduces herself as Mina. The vampire who turned Vlad watches him flirt with Mina and follows them. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe to watch more of these videos.